Welcome y'all to another episode of the Presidential Executive. What's going on? This boy right here, JB. This is my brother over here, El Presidente Rag. Man, we got a story to tell. Just a little bit.
Man, we don't have to tell it. We ain't got to tell it if you don't want to tell it.
I do it. Now, we should have been on about at least 30 minutes ago. I overslept. Rag saved the day because he was outside. I probably would have left. Thinking, hey, it's probably a no-go. But Rag said today he was outside. He checked on your boy. He didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could have been in the house doing something, you know what I mean? But he, brother came through, and here we are, 30-something minutes later, man. So, salute to my brother right there, man. Appreciate you,
man. Look, man, you know what it is, man. Yeah. Like I said, technical difficulties. Technically, we were having difficulties, so you know what I'm saying. If you want to look at it that way, but nah, man, it's all good. Man, that work life, working multiple jobs, you know what I'm saying, and having a side hustle that you're doing as well. Yeah. Like it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak, and it's been a minute since you've been doing that. Yeah. So just getting back reacclimated to that, I know how. If anybody know, I know.
Oh yeah, you definitely. I already know you know.
Yep.
You the pro with that, and so yeah, man. Apologies for those that are live. If you're watching this on replay, you probably like what these niggas talk about. So it is what it is. But y'all know what we do, man. Go ahead, like us, like this video right now. Whether you're watching it live on replay, wherever that you stream podcasts, we're on Apple. We're on Google. We're on YouTube. I'm sure. Let me start off. We're on Apple. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Amazon Music and
Stitcher.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah, I said like let me wait it on the sips jack while you doing that, because last time I got caught mid sip.
Yeah. I go last time we did catch you mid sip. You know what I mean? Mid sip. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. If y'all saw the thumbnail, I got smoke and mirrors up there. So even how I look at it, it's a lot of stuff to talk about. Actually, I had a executive mindset I just kind of put out since I know we weren't here last week, and so
right.
I wanted to do that, so I hustled and did that. I think I did that maybe Saturday morning before everything got to hustling. If you hear my voice, I'm kind of almost like I was waking up. I'm like, trying to get this out the way before we got to roll. So it's a lot going on, man. But first, I want to tap into this whole Shedeur Sanders situation. It's been news, it's been a lot going on. What you think about it, Rag? Then I can just kind of dive into it. Do you want me to do a little synopsis, and then are you just
go ahead.
Okay. Shedeur Sanders, if anybody knows, Shedeur Sanders is the highly rated quarterback from the Colorado Buffaloes. Coach Prime Deion Sanders' youngest son, and he was supposed to, by all mock drafts, experts, ESPN people, was supposed to be, let's say, at least a top 20 pick. That's just general, really. You probably talking really top 10. A lot of people top 5. But given circumstances and everything else, he ended up going in the 5th round, the 144th pick in the 5th round. And so that's the 3rd day of activities in the NFL draft. And so that was pretty unprecedented. And so it's a lot of opinions, a lot of what people think. A lot of it, has to do with race. Some of it to deal with something else. And I'm just interested to see what my boy Rag thinks, because we haven't even actually talked about this. So this will be my first time actually hearing about it. So, Rag, what it do?
Yeah, it's if it's not about money, it's always about race. Like, let's not get it fucked up. Like if it's not about, sometimes you can. And as we will see in other topics, sometimes those of us, when we get money, we delude ourselves into thinking that we're immune from the stuff that other people have to deal with. The late, great Paul Mooney would say, he got his nigga wake-up call. One thing that, and even if it ain't necessarily that, though, let's just play the devil's advocate and say it's not. I think sometimes I've heard people use the term book breaking. The term humble and the word humiliate, they come from the same root word, which basically means to lower yourself or to be lowered, you know, to be made low. So when you humble yourself, you're literally bowing down to somebody, even if that person isn't of a higher authority than you. When you're being humiliated, you're being made low. You're being knocked off your pedestal. And so, true enough, Deion didn't do anything different than what Archie Manning did. As a matter of fact, I think what Archie Manning did was worse. You know what I'm saying? Because he specifically said, "Oh, we're not playing for certain teams." What John Elway did was worse. Oh, we're not playing. If he get drafted by this team, he's going to play baseball. Like Prime didn't do that. Shedeur didn't do that. Although you gotta understand, when you choose to put on a certain sweater, when you choose to put yourself in a certain light, in a certain spotlight, you gotta be prepared for the scrutiny that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, another Paul Mooney quote: "Everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga." You want to be, you want that notoriety, you want people to look at you as polarizing and all of that. You got to be prepared for the other shoe to drop. And when people say, "Okay, well, fine, now we finna nitpick at you."
Yeah.
Forget the fact that, I mean, and again, he had very good numbers.
For sure. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But
definitely.
I was listening to who was it, Dan Orlovsky and Swagoo, and they were saying basically like he played very well, especially considering that he was under duress most of the time because they had a weak O-line.
Yeah.
But he didn't have crazy tape.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So you basically have and you know who I'll give Shedeur his comp? Shedeur is comparable to one of my favorite quarterbacks, a Hall of Famer, San Francisco 49er great, Joe Montana. Joe Montana didn't have crazy tape in terms of he wasn't an eye-popping athlete. He wasn't blowing nobody away with his 40 time. They said he had a weak arm. And that weak arm threw to the GOAT of wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? And John Taylor almost got 10,000 yards receiving from Joe Montana as well. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Joe was Joe third or fourth round?
I believe third round. But he was from Notre Dame.
Okay.
And then the Notre Dame coach consistently was trying to bench Joe. You know what I'm saying? So like, but comparable as far as the measurables of, he's not as great of an athlete as his dad. He's not even the greatest athlete as his brother.
Yeah, definitely not.
Who plays defense? Who was signed by Tampa Bay?
Yeah,
and shout out to Shiloh Sanders for being signed by the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yep.
And then they got a defensive head coach, so I think he'll thrive in that situation. But he didn't have crazy tape. So, again, now we can look at the numbers, but numbers can be deceptive. We talked about this before. You know what I'm saying? Robert Parrish scored more points than Larry Bird. Nobody would say that Robert Parrish is a better scorer than Larry Bird. Numbers can be deceptive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't lie, but they sure be hiding some shit. And that's what the numbers are. And so he wasn't eye-popping on the tape. Now, he is a winner. He's solid. He has all the intangibles, which you can't teach that type stuff. He knows how to galvanize the locker room. Cream rises to the top. I believe that whether he was in the first round or the seventh round, when he gets his opportunity, I believe he's going to do well. Now, Hall of Famer, like all that, I don't know. But I believe he's going to be a solid NFL quarterback.
Okay, before I say what I'm going to say, now, do you think him going to Cleveland was a blessing in disguise, or you think...
That part, I think, was collusion. Because they pulled up a tweet from 2017 that Deion made about Cleveland. And they made it like, oh, he just made this. Look at what he said about that was 2017. Some of y'all, if y'all had kids in 2017, you almost have a teenager right now.
Yeah.
They're approaching preteen-hood if your child was born in 2017. Your child will be 8 years old this year. They're approaching... When you hit 10, you're preteen. They're approaching preteen-hood.
Yeah.
When he made that quote, his son was like a sophomore in high school. You know what I'm saying? So like let's not make it like, oh, he said that about. No, he said that. And I want to say 8 years ago, who would they Wasn't Baker Mayfield because he hadn't been in the league that long.
Yeah, I had to.
But whoever it was before Baker, but essentially, Cleveland was one of those organizations outside of Myles Garrett where your career goes to die.
Yeah.
Like outside of Joe Thomas, who's the O-lineman, that's a Hall of Famer. Outside of Myles Garrett, like who? I mean, you got to go all the way back to like Bernie Kosar and like people that Icky Woods the one year, you know what I'm saying? And we remember Icky from the Geico commercial doing the Icky Shuffle in the supermarket. Like, Jim Brown, like the Cleveland Browns have not been great since they had Jim Brown. Yeah. Peyton Hillis had the one good year, the white running back that was on the cover of Madden, and then he hurt himself. Yeah. Like, you go, Odell Beckham, you go to Cleveland to die.
Yeah.
The Browns, now not the Cavs. We not shitting on Cleveland. We ain't got no. I'm just saying
their
organization is poorly ran.
Yeah,
the Cleveland Browns organization has been poorly ran for decades.
Yeah,
and so that part, I think that part is like, oh, we really finna fuck with you.
Now, I'm with you to a degree. Now, what I do want to say, like some of the stuff I did say on the executive mindset. This was all just coming from my mind because at the time when I recorded it, the Saturday draft the third day hasn't even begun yet. So I was just kind of spitting off my thoughts and what it just looked like in real time because that's what I wanted to do before I even start hearing other people, you know what I'm saying? But then, like, a couple of things. I don't think that race was really a part of this, in the big scheme of things, but then also, if you want to get a little spiritual, like, what do he say? What's his scheme? Be legendary, right? Mm-hmm. That's his thing, right? And so, what they say sometimes, like, be careful what you ask God for. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know, hey, God, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, well, I got to take you down this route. You know what I'm saying?
The work that goes into it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, so from that point of view, I think it's interesting. But, like, which I did mention some of the executive mindset. Let's count the ways a little bit. I wrote a couple things down. Like, I mean, I think he made a mistake not going to the combine and making himself available, right? Right. And so, like I said, hindsight is 20/20. But when you look at it, like, he didn't go to the. I'm a kind of jump around here and there. Jackson Dart, the dude that
was it Ole Miss?
From Ole Miss, mm-hmm. They traded back up in the first round to get him at 25. Mm-hmm. Where did they get really acclimated with him at the Senior Bowl, mm-hmm. at the draft combine meetings, right? Two of the places that Shedeur brushed off the Giants.
Oh, he didn't play. He didn't play the Senior Bowl.
Nope. Oh. Shedeur didn't. He didn't play anything. He went to the combine. Did the little interview where you see, you know what I'm saying, that picture right there. I remember if you seen that picture,
right, yeah.
You know, so that he did the interview,
right?
He did the measurables, you know. He didn't
height and everything.
Yeah, he didn't, he didn't throw there. He was just like, if you want to see me throw, you got to come to our pro day in Colorado, mm-hmm. blah blah blah. So I think he messed up, kind of doing that, and honestly too, I think him and Coach Prime, I think they kind of overplayed their hand to a degree, because. They didn't have an agent. I think to this day they still don't have an agent. I think Coach Prime was like the liaison person, kind of in between, right? Mm-hmm. And so now, to not Shedeur's fault, like that's your dad. Your dad is him.
He's trusting him, right?
You know what I'm saying? So you trust your dad. Your dad said you're gonna be a top 5 pick. Everybody else saying you're gonna be a top 5 pick.
And of all the dads, I ain't even gonna lie. Of all of the sports dads, black, white, Hispanic, whoever. Because, who is it? Tua had a dad that was on point like that. You know what I'm saying? You got LeVar Ball. You got John Elway's dad. You got Archie Manning. You got Richard Williams. You got Earl Woods. I mean, we can go Todd Marinovic's dad, the one who, like, was giving him freaking isotopes and stuff when he was in, like, as a baby. Like, the person who got the most cachet of everybody. Oh, yeah. No dad got more cachet than Prime.
Yeah, by far.
Prime played in the Super Bowl and the World Series in the same season.
Right. And so
you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that ain't like nobody has cachet like that. Prime he was an all-star in baseball and an all-pro in football.
Yeah.
He was a Hall of Famer in football and had he devoted his whole career to baseball, he quite arguably probably could have been a Hall of Famer or at least very close.
Definitely been a Hall of Famer.
You know what I'm saying? In baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if he wasn't there, he would have been damn near. He would have been right on that.
Yeah.
Like we'd have been arguing why he wasn't in there.
Right. Now, I'm with you. I think if he would have devoted his time, that's actually one of his only regrets in life. He's brought up in multiple interviews on podcasts before. He was like, I wish I would have devoted more time into baseball. You know what I'm saying? Because he thought he could, like, if he would have devoted his time, bro, I think for sure would have been a Hall of Famer. It just have been what tier, you know what I mean, that he would have been, because he had it all. He could hit. He obviously could steal bases being so quick. You know, he probably would have maybe took a run.
Very good out. And you know I mess with him because, you know, my baseball team is the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when him out in the outfield, him and Fred McGriff, David Justice, and, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mess with him for that reason. But I just brought up that because when you look at the dads, no dad has more cachet.
Oh, yeah. By
far.
Than
prime time.
Yeah, by far. And another thing I think that went wrong, like, and I think I mentioned this too when we were talking roundabout maybe about them, and I thought that they were branding him. I was like, he need to be careful because Shedeur kind of carried himself not like a QB, right? He kind of sounded like a wide receiver, a cornerback. Right. You know what I'm saying? Perfect timing at the watch and doing all like. And I think even Cam brought that up a little bit, and they thought he was hating. You know, it's just like, bro, like you gotta relax. And then even Cam brought up like what was his signature wins as a college athlete, right? Like Cam, SEC all day, you know what's going on. And then when I sat back and thought about it, like what was Shedeur's signature wins in college? Let's say the TCU game. Everybody knew the first game they had when the first year at Colorado. Now TCU ended up not being that good that year, but TCU was in a national championship game the year before, but it wasn't the same team.
And they was ranked when they came into the game.
Right, and they were ranked. They was probably like top 25, 18, whatever like that, right? So you would probably say that's probably one of his biggest wins. And then, you know, Colorado State, you know, that's a rivalry. And they beat a few other teams, but really when you look at it, he didn't really have any signature wins, like other than just because the games was just so hype anyway. So every game was just hype, right? And so, but as far as signature wins, if you go back and look at his actual resume, I wouldn't say that Shedeur had any signature
better
wins.
Was when he was in Jackson State.
Yeah, because the team and you know everything else.
Because I want to say, didn't they win? I know they won their conference.
Yeah, but they always lost in that bowl game to South Carolina State.
Oh, okay,
both years, and so that was the only actually blemish in their record that they lost. Whatever that Celebration Bowl, maybe it's called that. Every year they were like 12-0, and then they won everything, all the games, but then they lost to South Carolina State. And ironically, the year that they left, the next coach ended up winning that game the following year. So, given that, okay, and plus, I don't think he was a great prospect. I don't think he was elite, right? I think he was really good. I've been singing his praises the last couple of years. I saw him as a freshman year, and I think I came out like, bro, like, I think Shedeur is for real, right?
Right.
But he's not a Cam Newton. He's not a Cam Ward.
Right.
To your point, what you were saying, he's not like, he doesn't pop out on tape like that, right? And so,
which ain't necessarily a bad thing. Because, like I said, Joe Montana didn't pop out on tape.
Right.
Tom Brady didn't pop out on tape.
Yep.
Tom Brady don't have a crazy arm, don't have a crazy 40 time. You know, and they said Shedeur would have been like a 4.7, 4.8. Hell, it'd have been faster than Brady. Brady was like a 5.6.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, anybody faster than Brady, like, again, Manning didn't have a fast 40 time.
Right.
But one thing that Tom Brady got that Joe Montana had, they're leaders. They're accurate. You know what I'm saying? That they're winners. They know how to galvanize a team. So, like, now, because we've fallen in love with the Lamar Jacksons, with the Patrick Mahomes, with the what's my boy, Josh Allen, right? I mean, even a Joe Burrow, who ain't got the athleticism is none of the three of them, but he got the arm. Right, Joe Burrow got the crazy arm and he accurate.
Right,
and he's a leader, and he's got the intangible. So like, I would compare a Joe Burrow, old school wise. Joe Burrow is like a modern day Dan Marino, to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because it's somebody who ain't taking off and running and doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. But in terms of the arm, the accuracy, putting up the crazy quarterback numbers, like that's Joe Burrow.
Now, even when you come to Joe Burrow, which I heard some people bring that up. I heard Mike Irvin bring that up about him being a good comp for him. But when we take all the stuff out the way, right? If we want to say he's more like Joe Burrow had a crazy, at least last year.
Career. Yeah, I was just gonna say the comp for me coming out of college wise for Shedeur would be a Joe Montana or Tom Brady.
Right.
Whereas, like, if you was comping Joe Burrow, it would have been Dan Marino. If you was comping a Josh Allen, would have been more like a John Elway. If you were comping Lamar Jackson, to me, Lamar Jackson is what you get. When you combine Michael Vick and Randall Cunningham, you get Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Now,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and Shedeur for me is like more comparable to it. Tom, like the accuracy, the leadership, the winning. You know what I'm saying? Like that part.
But even what I'm saying with that, let me finish this. But he was talking about Joe Burrow. They won games, right? They had.
Joe Burrow got crazy tape.
Yeah,
he got crazy tape.
Crazy tape, signature wins, and all that stuff, right?
SEC.
And the thing with Shedeur, once we get all the glitz and the glamour out the way, what wins did he have, right? People talk about Eli Manning. I heard you even say something about Eli Manning, like. He didn't have the career or something that Eli Manning had coming out of college.
Right now, Eli had crazy tape coming out of college.
He had greater tape, and what was his last memory? The last memory for Eli was the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma State. He killed, I think he had like a 97-run touchdown, 232 yards,
Eli ran in 97 yards?
He ran a 97-yard touchdown.
Oh, hell.
His and we talking about just last impressions, right?
Yeah, no, I was saying, damn, like, I didn't know Eli.
And so, what was Shedeur's last impression would be at the BYU? They lost 36-14. He did not look good.
Right.
He had 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, and however many sacks, you know what I'm saying, that he whatever took. And so, I'm just putting stuff back in perspective when you put in hindsight. And so, to me, he was carrying himself like none of this stuff happened.
Right.
Right. And so, and to
to your point, he didn't do the other stuff too, which that might have helped him in spite of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he benefited from his brother being the media mogul that he is, doing all the video and photo stuff like that. Dion being who he is, being on national TV every week, doing all this stuff. And so now he was, to me, even though I thought he was real good, maybe overinflated to a degree, because not only you got that, you got all-world wide receiver and cornerback.
Who has crazy tape?
who has crazy tape. You know what I'm saying? Him being on your team.
And won the Heisman.
Won the Heisman, and him being your safety net. Whenever you're in trouble, who he go to? He went to Trav. You know what I'm saying? Which, obviously, you should. And so now, when you look at all this, and then his dad always saying that he's him, saying, okay, he's going to be a top 5. Travis probably number 1. He maybe go 3 or 4. And so this was just lining up for the hype train to continue to go on and on. Where I think he messed up was, like I said, he didn't go to the combine. He didn't go into that Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl. And, I think they kind of forced his hand. And so, and other things too, I did say he ended on a bad note against BYU. He lacked signature wins. He didn't have an agent. And, and honestly, we talk about LeBron to a degree and how he didn't help Bronny in the case of him coming into the league and him having that microscope on him. I don't think Coach Prime did Shedeur any favors, because he was on Gillian Wallow's podcast maybe earlier this year or maybe late last year saying that, look, we're going to kind of pick where we want to go. If not, I'm going to pull an Eli. That's exactly what Coach Prime said. He said, if we don't like exactly where you're going to get picked, we're going to pull an Eli. And so it sounded good at the time, but then you got to understand if Coach Prime, if Shedeur was anything like Coach Prime, he can do whatever he wanted to do, right, and it wouldn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. But as we know, you know what I'm saying, the bigger your talent, the more they're going to put up with. You know what I mean? Like Baker Mayfield. People talk about Baker Mayfield and da-da-da. Baker Mayfield had a hell of a career.
Right.
Yeah, he had a hell of a career, right? Mm-hmm. And so, as bad as what Baker Mayfield did, he didn't have it. Shedeur didn't got the tape like Baker.
No, and you're right. And then Baker, won a Heisman.
Yep, he did actually. Yep, I forgot about that.
So, and then he had the signature wins. And so, like my thing is, you're not saying anything wrong. This is a situation where multiple things can be true. Did Shedeur have the crazy tape? No. Did Shedeur have, even though he had very good numbers, were they eye-popping? Were they astronomical? No.
They were nice, though. They were nice.
No, they were extremely good.
Yeah, numbers were nice.
Extremely good. But he didn't have the crazy tape. He wasn't in the best situation because they didn't have a good O-line. Yes, he overplayed his hand.
I think both of them kind of overplayed it, and I think his dad.
Well, I mean, I think he did that though because, to your point, he's going off of if I'm gonna listen to anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to listen to the however many time All-Pro, however many time Pro Bowler, first ballot Hall of Famer, the greatest cornerback who ever did it, two-sport athlete, unprecedented 40 times. You know what I'm saying?
And he hasn't left him in the dark yet, because everything he's said up
right.
to this
he
point,
hasn't steered him wrong yet.
It has been true.
So
everything
that
up to
part
that point
is true. But then I also do believe, though, that sometimes you have people that say, "Oh, we finna show you. We gonna teach you. Oh, you think you that? Okay, we finna show. No, you not that nigga. You just a nigga, and we finna show you."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like and like I said, I think that all of that is true. I don't think it's just that. If we were to say it's just that, that's disingenuous. It's not righteous. It's not valid, because that disregards all the other stuff. But if we're to just say, well, it's just the tape or lack thereof, it's just the lack thereof of signature wins. At the same time, like you said, he plays 2 years. He's 24-0. As a starting quarterback. And to my knowledge, I want to say, I don't know how many games he missed, but I don't think he missed that many games.
What are we talking about?
Shedeur.
What are we talking about, in his 4 years? Or
in his 4 years. So, I mean, he's very durable. Like, he's very durable in spite of, especially when he was in Colorado, not having no line at all.
Yeah.
I don't know that they had any O-linemen from Colorado team in either year that he played that got drafted or signed a free agent contract.
Now, one of them will be, but he's a freshman. He'll be one of those.
Okay, right. But no, I'm saying now. I'm saying from that first year that he was there, I don't think any of them got drafted. And then from this past year, with him and Shiloh and Hunt, like, I don't think none of the O-linemen.
Nah. If
they had any seniors or upperclassmen, I don't think any of them got drafted. If they did, they didn't come from Colorado. They played somewhere else first and was a transfer.
Right.
So I think if we were to just say it's all of the racial stuff, I think that's disingenuous, because that, like, to what you pointed out, it disregards the lack of tape. It disregards the signature wins. It disregards the skipping out on, like, the Senior Bowls, like the places where you get to stamp to make that lasting impression.
And also, too, I think, I didn't mention this, I think it was a lack of self-awareness, because now in your bubble between your dad and everybody else, all you're hearing is pretty much one thing. You're not, even himself, he would always say, like, what's your best attribute, Shedeur? He would be like, my mind, because I have a high acumen, an IQ, and so I don't really use my legs. This is coming out of his mouth. And so he already knows this, right? And so if you know this, one of the most beautified contests is the NFL draft, right? And so we don't, like, Captain, whatever, Miss America, whatever it's called.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't care what's in her brain. With like that's fine, right? But as far we looking for the look, we're looking for your talent. We're looking for what pops out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so now, like with his dad, Coach Prime, he skipped all the stuff. He said he came out one day and just did the 40 and then went back somewhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't go.
But Dion had crazy tape.
Crazy tape, right? And so now with Shedeur, like I don't think he had enough awareness to be like, yes, I'm confident. Yes, I'm not. I don't know if you saw his interview at the combine. You know what I'm saying? He was saying like, hey, I changed the culture. I went to Jackson State, I changed the culture. Okay, I went to Colorado, changed the culture, right? You did. However, you had the force field, which is your dad.
Right.
You had Travis Hunter, right? And so you can't.
And then you had your brother who was,
yeah,
who knew how to get all the good shots.
Yeah. And so you can't take full credit for that, right? You know what I'm saying? Even though you're the QB, you did your thing to be like, and then I heard the Giants interview, like they told him to get on the board and, he really couldn't, break down certain things that they want him to break down, right? And so now, at the end of the day, it was personal because I put it this way, I did have this analogy, okay? For where I'm at now, where I'm at work, and I'm, had interviews, had to go talk to people and do all this stuff, right? I want to be myself, right? Just like you want to be yourself. But then there's a controlled self that you need to be in these interviews when you're in front of these billion-dollar owners, GMs, and stuff like that, to where you just can't, just let your nuts hang like you just on the couch at the crib chilling, right? And so to me, he had that persona that he was just, man, you gonna have to draft me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just him, and really wasn't dialed in and looked at it as a business. He looked at it as, which you can't blame him. My dad is who he is. He hasn't steered me wrong yet. He said I'm a top 5, top 10 pick. That's what y'all gonna do. But he never, I think, realized that he wasn't the caliber of prospect that he had in his mind. To us, which he is, but for them, once he didn't get picked in the first round, bro, like they were looking at him as a bag up. Once you don't get picked in the first 2 rounds, you know what I'm saying? They're looking at you as a bag up. And I've heard other people say that when you're looking at a bag up for the NFL, you're looking at totally different situations. You're not trying to have your bag up be all flashy, be all in front. Not, you know what I'm saying, winning in jersey sales. If he was a bag up somewhere else, he gonna be beating the starter quarterback in jersey sales. Right. That's not good for business. And so
I mean, and who knows, he could still be traded, to somebody. So I was looking at the depth chart. So they got Joe Flacco, they got Deshaun Watson, they got Kenny Pickett. Now they also drafted Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. So they got 5 quarterbacks on the depth chart. They're not keeping all 5.
No, they only keep 3.
Right. So somebody's not worst case, and they may keep 4. So like they're indebted. They're in bed with Deshaun Watson at least for this year because of that massive contract he signed. They just picked up Flacco.
Flacco's staying.
Right. So
Flacco ain't going
really the number 3 spot is between Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
And then they drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. So 9 times out of 10, they might get rid of Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so now it's really going to be between Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And one of those guys, a couple of those guys are probably going to be cut, traded,
But that was my another thing. I don't think this is such a good place for Shedeur. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. Cleveland is I don't think Cleveland is good for anybody unless you're just trying to get paid.
Yeah.
But it ain't good from a football perspective.
I'm thinking that he will have a chance to be a starter. But then also you got to realize, too, when you get in mini camps, when you get into these rookie camps, like you said, they got 5 players, 5 QBs, right?
Right.
And so you're not going to have reps for all 5 of them. Somebody going to be left out.
Deshaun not going to get no reps, but he's not going nowhere because, like I said, they're in bed
all the
with
money
him for like, what, $270 million?
A lot. I don't
right,
know.
yeah, it's a lot, right. But
a lot.
Man, look, we could again. I believe when he gets his opportunity, he gonna do well.
Yeah.
I hate that for him, but sometimes, to your point, when you say it's got to go a certain way, we don't look at all of the hoops we got to jump through in order for us to get to where we're trying to go. I don't think that Cleveland will be his final, resting place, his final destination. I believe he'll end up somewhere else, and hopefully he ends up in a good situation like maybe Pittsburgh or the Jets.
Yeah,
but they got Justin Fields. I don't know. But somebody like New York is a good market. You know what I'm saying? Pittsburgh is, Pittsburgh. Hell, he wouldn't do bad shit if he ended up with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, because y'all ain't gonna be with Dak in the long term.
I thought if he would have slipped further than what he did, I think we actually would have picked him up. Mm-hmm. But we gonna move on. But I did also want to say that we talk about all these quarterbacks and stuff that got taken, and I really hate when people bring up. I saw Stack Jack talking about how don't want to see the black man. Once a black man is confident, they don't want to take him. Like Cam Ward, he's cocky, he's confident. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's a plethora of people.
Even what's the guy that got played for the Colts? Richardson.
Anthony Richardson,
he
Florida Gator.
He was
So I don't like when people use the race card when it comes to this, because pretty much this had way more to do with Shedeur and the Coach Prime than it actually had to do with any type of collusion or anything like that. But I'm rooting for him, but he gonna be fighting an uphill battle, bro. Because he gonna have to start from the dirt. Because at any point in time they want to cut him, they gonna cut him.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? He gonna have to make the most out of his reps, and kind of make it, kind of rest to do what it do. All right, so this next one, let's go and get into the skinny of this, man. Tell us about your boy Shay, man. The nightcap. The nightcap.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of cap going on.
Ooh wee.
It was a lot of
cap.
Slobbing on the knob like corn on the cob.
Yeah.
Man, this is
give us the cliff notes. I know the deal. Just give us a little cliff notes.
Man, so essentially, Shannon Sharpe, Uncle Shay, Club Shay, nightcap. All of that. He is being accused by an ex-girlfriend of sexual assault, of rape, for $50 million. Shannon Sharpe has come out and he's vehemently denied that it's anything inappropriate took place. That it was all consensual. That he's being strong-armed. Which I can believe that, but essentially,
but does that matter?
He's 56 years old. Yeah. He was like 54 when they met. She was 19. Yeah. I've said it once and I said it again. I told y'all niggas, y'all gonna believe me one day. If you're gonna be outside like that, man, get you an escort. That's the whole point. You're not trying to be in a relationship. Like that is what. If you just trying to get your rocks off, get you an escort. He got somebody. He trying.
But that wasn't his girlfriend.
No, that was his girlfriend.
I ain't never seen.
No, that was his girlfriend.
Like his lady.
That was his woman.
But he didn't admit that when he came
out
and said it, though.
that was because
that's what she's
in
saying.
The audio, one of the audios like he moved and she ended up moving to where.
Yeah.
Because he was in L.A. Yeah. They met in L.A. Then he moved to Vegas. Yeah. She moved to Vegas with him. So like that was his woman. They were in a relationship. But the deal was where they got out of a relationship. That audio, when the audio got leaked to him, you know what I'm saying, with the other chick, when it went live, was it Facebook Live or Instagram Live, like the little sex tape or whatever.
Right. But that wasn't her though.
No, but he was still with her.
Yeah.
So like that is what made them break up.
See, this makes it worse for me if that was his actual girlfriend.
Right.
Because to me it was just I'm thinking it's just a jump off. It's a shakedown or whatever, but if she's actually your girlfriend.
But Monique told him, nah. You have no business being almost 60 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And still out here chasing. Yeah. And in Monique's own words, Monique said, you need to get you an old hoe. That's what Monique said. I ain't saying Monique said it. Y'all be mad at her. I'm just repeating.
Yeah.
She said it when he interviewed her.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing the clip.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is the timing. Maybe it's bad, but he just recently interviewed Terrence Bud Crawford.
I saw that.
And so, like, while they're talking, and this is, I guess, before the allegations came out, like, he asked Bud, like, hey, you know, people try to fight you, whatever. And Bud's like, man, if somebody tried to fight me, like, he said, I wouldn't even punch him because, you know, I box. He said, I'd choke him. So it's like, and I'm reading the comments, and people like, is it too soon for choking jokes? Because that's what one of the, now, again, if you listen to the audio does not sound like an authentic conversation. Like, the way we're talking, we're flowing, it's like, he's talking, and it's like a pause for about 10 seconds. And then she's saying something. It's like a pause for about 10 seconds. And it's not even like a real conversation. So clearly it's been some editing going on. Anybody with common sense would know that that's not the way a conversation goes. I ask you a question, you immediately respond. It seems as if, like, even like the way he was answering some of the stuff, it doesn't fit the question that she was at, like, or whatever. It's just like, that's something he said. And again, I don't trust Tony Busby. If I was in a building on fire and Tony Busby was outside saying, I'm going to save your life, I'm here to save your life, I'll just die. I don't trust Tony Busby with anything. He's an ambulance chaser.
But a broke clock can be right twice a day.
Unfortunately, it's not that time. Unfortunately, it's not that time.
I'm not saying that he right, but I'm saying, like, just the whole situation, like, of course, anybody with eyes and with any type of discernment can see that this is a shakedown.
Right,
Shay is not lying about that. Now, my question is, why are you even putting yourself in this situation? Because you're him right now. This is not like you've been that guy for a while.
And I just saw something that said whatever $100 million deal he was about to get, he lost that.
Correct. Now, I also heard about this. This is something kind of new. Because there was putting out there, he offered her $10 million in a settlement, right? Mm-hmm. Now, just from asking, $10 million for an OnlyFans model, correct?
Right.
For an OnlyFans model.
Right.
Now, just her and her brain by herself, does she turn down that money? Just a question. With an OnlyFans model that's obviously not doing that great, you know, as far as $10 million. 9 times out
of 10, if you already got a lawyer, and he's going to settle for $10 million, the lawyer's saying if he's settling for 10, we're going to sue for 50, and we might can get 30.
But I'm saying you got to have a
but that what I'm
saying.
But she's got a. But you got to remember now, to your point, this is the same lawyer who had all them women come out against Deshaun Watson, and we said this. Do I believe Deshaun Watson has a weird fetish? Most definitely. Does he need to stay the fuck away from massage parlors? You better believe it. You better have you an old white man named Gunther massaging you every time, and just leave it at that. But, because, I mean, when you listen to it, it's like, so, wait, hold on, you went over there 5 times? You went over there 3, you went over there 6 times? Like, it's not like, oh, I went over there one time, he did, and I'm like, you kept going back over there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, like, the person who had the chicks coming over there was almost like a madam. Like, she was like, okay, I'm going to send this part. Like, she was, like, basically sending the chicks over there. So it was kind of an arranged thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then it's just convenient that Houston had a morality clause in his contract. Like, let's not act like it's not a thing, and now you want to leave. Okay, as soon as you want to leave, now, bam, you get hit with that. Let's not act like that ain't real. But at the same time, you got a lawyer. Your lawyer saying if he's willing to settle. And settlement does not mean that you're guilty. But this is why most celebrities who say, in hindsight, I should have never settled.
Yeah.
Is because
it's gonna look like you guilty.
Not only that, but when you do that, now anybody that you've ever been in a relationship with or that you've had a similar interaction with, they see that you giving money away. And what's the old saying? Man, I'll take anybody money if they giving it away. Nigga, I just got a thing, man, a Brinks truck, was a Loomis truck flipped over in New York. Why the fuck am I in Memphis right now? You know what I'm saying? Like if the Loomis, how long I've been talking about the Loomis truck? You see what I'm saying? Years, nigga, and it happened in New York. I'm just saying, if they giving it away, if niggas is settling You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like again, we talk about, I ain't gonna say no names, but like, nigga, if they ever start suing and he starts settling, I'm coming out. I ain't saying no nothing like nigga, but I'm throwing my head in the ring. I'm trying to get mine. I'm trying to get mine too. And I promise you, I ain't trying to get as much as everybody else trying to get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want time served and what you owe me.
Yeah. Now, when you look at the timetable, kind of what I was alluding to where he was about to get quote unquote this $100 million deal with the podcast. This had nothing to do with ESPN. This has to do with his podcast show, Club Shay Nightcap, the stuff he does with Bubba Dub. You know what I'm saying, and another show that he kind of executive produced. And so he was about to get paid with this. Now all of this happens to happen literally a couple of days during this time. And so what I'm thinking is like she had maybe even some of the sponsors that is going to be giving him that $100 million.
Right.
That's like
she had some $4 of it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yeah, you don't want to settle for 10 because I know for a fact,
right?
We can
but
get
you got to
this
keep in mind she knows
because
this
too, coming down the pipe.
That's his woman.
Yeah, like the whole woman part. That makes it. This makes it even worse to me if that was actually your girl because there ain't no way that a 56-year-old man should be with, was she 21, 22?
Now she's about 21.
But at the time when they met, she was 19 or something like that. So yeah, it's just, I've heard other people also talk about, well, it'd be good if he was, kind of married or kind of shit. Not necessarily, because even if you're married, they'll maybe help curve some of the stuff. Maybe you wouldn't go this deep in the woods. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that you know what I mean? He losing sponsors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boost Mobile is gone. I think DraftKings is gone. And some other thing, that he's constantly losing. Then we know that he took a hiatus from ESPN.
Right.
But really,
ESPN ain't cut him yet because, like, their ratings are extremely well with him on.
They are.
And they can talk all this family shit all they want to. We already know when they get through, Disney can talk all this family shit. Disney is ruled by the almighty fucking dollar at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because you see, they keep remaking all these movies that was classic, and they be making this whack-ass bullshit, live-action shit. The Lion King live-action, whack. Mulan live-action, whack. They making the Moana live-action. That shit gonna be whack. Lilo and Stitch got a live-action coming out. That shit gonna be bullshit, because they all about the fucking money. That's why they ain't cut him yet. Because they all about that almighty dollar. And ESPN, that is a cash cow. And when he's on, as Stephen A. says, he's box office.
No,
so they're gonna wait until the smoke clears. They're gonna give him more grace than they gave Jonathan Majors. But I guarantee you, don't be surprised if Jonathan Majors be back, because he back on his. You see, he on his media trail. So don't be surprised if when the dust settles at the first NFL game next year, you see Shannon Sharpe back. But I'm mad at Shannon Sharpe right now. I am very upset because he didn't take his own advice. And what does he always say? If you're going to talk to a younger woman, half your age plus 7. So for him, he shouldn't be dealing with nobody younger.
You don't believe that?
No, definitely not. He shouldn't be hollering at nobody younger than 35.
Yeah, that's about right. 30 at least.
You know what I'm saying? Like, me and you would be 28.
30 at the least, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the deal is, and this is the bullshit part about it, like, because I watch all of his interviews. Keke Palmer on there. Keke Palmer moved her, so I got my list of those who can't do nothing. Keke Palmer has crept her way up in there. Keke Palmer was shooting her shot at him.
Yeah.
In real life. And she's in her 30s. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about how, like, look, you got money, I got money, I be at the house. Women don't do hypotheticals. So when a woman hypothetically shoots a shot at you, ain't no fucking hypothetical. She's telling you what it is. Cause think about it. When you try to present hypotheticals, what happened? Oh, so what you trying to say? No, women don't do hypotheticals.
Well, they said Shannon don't like black women like that, though.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. But now when you look at old girl, and I'm not finna sit up here and lie to you, like, and this ain't no shame, but like some of these women you see on the internet and these goofy ass memes, if them in the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. If I got to choose between some chick who got the little ponytail and some ghetto ass video, I'm choosing Scarlett Johansson. Okay, I like women, but now if I got to choose between you know what I'm saying, Megan Good and I'm sorry, Megan Good gonna win every time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now, like, but when I'm looking at old girl and I'm looking at Keke Palmer, I'm sorry, she ain't got Keke. Young Miami was on there. Young Miami was shooting her shot. Like I said, I watched and I watched them a couple of times, listened a couple of times, because when I'm in the mail truck, nigga, I just that's all I'm doing. Young Miami is talking about how, like, when he said his age, which is half his age plus 7 would be 35, and she's like, well, I'm 31, and she's like, but that don't matter, because I done talked to somebody 20 years older before, so like, shoot, I'm about that. So he was like, what if I lose all my money and we got to go to welfare? She's like, all right, as long as we doing it together, let's get that money. Like, she's real life. Like, these people are real life letting him know. And when you look at him, he's in shape. Don't get it fucked up. He's not handsome on nobody metric. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm like I said before, nigga, I don't ever say pause.
Yeah.
Nigga, because if I'm gay, it's over with for the rest of you niggas. Like, I'm sorry. Like, y'all know what it is. I don't say pause because I don't ever say anything. I don't think homosexual when I talk. I never think that I'm saying something gay. Okay? So now, again, if we're sitting up here and we just being honest, and we go out and we be like, oh, and we make jokes about you, you know, back in the day, you know, to take the, like, nigga, we go out, we like, oh, nigga, we know JB finna pull something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, we know K about to pull something. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you know, this nigga's extra handsome and Rico Suave. You know me. I got to talk velvet and spit linen. You know what I'm saying? Even if I ain't necessarily got the, like, I know I got the personality.
You got the rap, yeah.
Right, but like, again, at the end of the day, even if I just had to go off of a look, you could introduce me to one of your homegirls back at TSU, and they might not be like, damn, that nigga fine, but they'll be like, oh, okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I wouldn't get that. I wouldn't get to, like, damn, really? Well, he got a good personality. You ain't even got to say he got a good personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shannon Sharpe is one of them niggas that you got to be like, he's the life of the party. He's got a good personality. Because you can't go off of looks. Because that nigga is not handsome. No. On nobody's metric.
Now, this is what I think about Shannon.
Nigga, in a room full of blind people, he's not handsome, nigga.
Yeah, this is what I think. He from the dirt south out there in Georgia. Him and his brother grew out there with his grandma. You know what I'm saying? And so probably had their fair share of racism. You know what I'm saying? So now, this is just me. Maybe, you know.
I already know where you're going.
He got the white woman, so now it's reparations now.
Self-hating.
You feel me? Yeah, or something like, people be laughing at that, but I think that's a real thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It could be a fetish. It can be, you know, you choking them. You know what I'm saying? Doing whatever. Like, and we know, well, just, you know, you dating white women. What's the thing? Why a lot of black men date white women generally, you know, because the white woman is more, what I can say, liberal, free, and not as
Have you ever dated any white women?
Loosely. I don't know when you say dated.
No, I mean just in, like, had somebody that you were dealing with consistently.
Yeah.
More than one.
No.
Okay, so I have. Mm-hmm. The only women that I have not dealt with is Middle Eastern women and Asian women. Hispanic, Caucasian, the sisters. I love women. Period.
Right.
Now, for me, I never generally, like you talked about the fetish thing, a lot of times when brothers deal with other women, it's because of a fetish thing. Like, for me, it's got to be organic. It's got to be some type of genuine connection. We got to have something in common. We got to have some type of connecting thread. If not, I don't give a fuck about no damn racism. I don't give a fuck about reparations. I don't give a fuck about none of it. Like, if I can't connect with you beyond something else, we can't deal with each other. I never dealt with the women that I dealt with outside of black women because I had some type of weird fetish. We had some connecting thread. Mm-hmm. Okay? But to your point, when you look at like a Jack Johnson, right? One of the first black heavyweight champions.
Yeah.
That's actually that law that they got, the trafficking law. It actually came from Jack Johnson because he had the white, the white wife or whatever. They were trying to say he was taking her across state lines. That they made that law up for him. Okay. Remember, he got a speeding ticket one time because the police officer only pulled him over because he had the white woman's like that's his wife, but he asked the police officer how much was the speeding ticket. And he said $50. He gave him $100 and said, "Cause I'm gonna be speed when I come back through here." You know what I'm saying? But for him, being with the white woman, to your point, was like a slap in the face to the man. You know what I'm saying? So not only am I gonna whoop your champion's ass, but I'm gonna also have me a bad one of your women, and I'm knocking her down every time.
Lady down, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was the thing. That was a real thing. I feel like he slick self hates himself because he knows he ain't handsome. He know what he look like.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be funny, but Cat Williams said it when he was on there, when he was describing Jonathan Majors and talking about how like y'all lied to Jonathan Majors and told him he handsome. He started describing his features. He was describing Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah.
Neither one of them niggas handsome.
But that's why I think that he works out as much as he does.
Because that offsets. But like, nigga, if you got to go off your senior heads, you know the jump where we take where you got the, like, you can see he got on like the suit and you smile like, nigga, he ain't getting nobody off his senior head. Nigga, if you got to go off your glamour shots, he ain't getting nobody off the glamour shots, nigga. Like, again, in a room full of blind women, he ain't getting nobody off his glamour shots.
No, they see that wallet when they see him.
But again, if you're going to give him an opportunity, he's a legit 6'4".
Yeah.
He's a legit muscular man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I imagine if the height is any indication, I imagine. You know what I'm saying? When what Bernie Mac say, when he pull it out, the whole room might go dark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now if that's your life, then you're gonna get some grace that you wouldn't otherwise get because of that. But I think that he has deluded himself into thinking that because he has this money, he has this status, that he's immune to the stuff that the rest of us have to deal with. And in the words of the late great Paul Mooney, I've said it once, I'm gonna say it again. He got his nigga wake up call.
Yeah. He got real sloppy with it, man. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. You know what I'm saying with that. But I think he got real sloppy with being with old girl because it was, I didn't like, kind of how what he doing because it's really affecting his brand now, and
it's affecting Ocho.
It's
who's thrown his hat in with him.
Yeah.
It's affecting Stephen A.
And I'm not so sure he's gonna be back with ESPN. Quite honestly, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Just because if they give Shannon Sharpe his job back, they gotta give my boy Mike Irvin his job back. You know what I'm saying? Like, my boy Mike Irv was must-see TV.
Yeah.
Especially during the NFL season. Like, if you want to swap, if you want to be like, okay, Shannon, you're not coming back, but then bring Michael back, because he going to need somebody during that NFL season of that caliber to really, you know what I'm saying, I think help push.
I ain't going to lie. Michael Irvin, playmaker, is great.
He's must-see TV. He's must-see TV.
I'm not going to say he's not, but Shannon is on a level.
I agree. I'm not saying he's better than Shay.
Right. No, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like I think that
he's not better than Shay now. But
Shannon is on that level of like where Stephen A is at.
Yeah.
Like I think Shannon is up there. Like I think Skip Bayless is up there, and then you got that next tier where like you got your Ryan Clarks, you got your playmakers. Trying to think of somebody else that does. Because to me, I think that playmaker and Ryan Clark have surpassed somebody that I love, like Jalen Rose.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like now, again, I think
sure.
Jalen has the good. Jalen is on the same tier as like a Dan Orlovsky with me. Like, they know their sport. That they can talk their sport. They know their shit. But as far as like that personality, that you know what I'm saying? Like, even if I'm not talking about my sport, like I can just get you off of my character. I don't think they have that, or at least they don't show it.
Yeah, the only reason I say for Mike Irvin, just because the play on that he would be with Stephen A. The one he on the Cowboys so much.
They got to bring Paul Pierce back
Monday. Yeah, Paul Pierce.
Was it Player P?
Player P. He ain't going nowhere.
He didn't do nothing as bad as what Shannon is accused of.
But he's not the personality of Shea or Mike Irv. You know what I mean? So I just said Mike Irv just because I can imagine doing the football season.
Paul Pierce isn't even Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, and Keyshawn ain't that either. Keyshawn is kind of dry, you know what I mean, compared to them cats.
He just is somebody who knows
what he's
talking about.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about.
You can trust his analysis.
Right.
And all of them are better than the man with Acho. So
Acho.
Oh yeah, no. Acho is a step below Jason Whitlock to me.
Uncomfortable conversations. And look, you talk about. I know you can't really stand Whitlock, but the boy Whitlock been on point this past week or so. You know he's been having a field day with Dion, Shedeur, even with Shannon. He been on point. You cannot. And look, the dude called Shedeur. He said Tupac Shedeur because he just I give him credit for it, right? His boy said Tupac Shedeur. And then had the little thumbnail.
I would never root for Uncle Ruckus. If y'all watch the Boondocks, watch the Boondocks and watch, or even you ain't got to watch the Boondocks. Go to YouTube and pull up Uncle Ruckus compilation on YouTube, and then go listen to Jason Whitlock and tell me the difference. They the same nigga. Like Jason Whitlock is a real live Uncle Ruckus. If you wanted, Jason Whitlock is a better Uncle Ruckus than the person who plays Uncle Ruckus.
I'm cool with Jason Whitlock. Like I said, again, I don't agree with everything.
And for somebody who has his cachet, who has his years in the business, who has his credibility, it is a shame that he panders the way that he does. And for somebody, and shame on you for somebody who has your talent and your credibility and your cachet, it's a shame that you pander the way that you do. Because in some instances, that you got to be honest and say that that's fucked up. Like we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care what planet that you live on, because and this is my thing. And again, we getting off topic, but like, and I'll use this reference. If you look at what happened to George Floyd, if it wouldn't matter what color the person was or what race or ethnicity they were, and you like, oh, well, they might have been on fentanyl or they might have did that or whatever and everything like that. If that's your stance for everybody, then fine. But if that was a white man that got choked out by a black cop like that, I guarantee you Jason Whitlock would have been all over the black cop. He would have been trying to find out this black cop. Oh, he got picked on when he was in middle school. He's had it out for white people. Like, that would have been the narrative. Mm-hmm. And that's my issue. Now, if you got a flatline black cop choking out a white guy, or Hispanic cop choking out an Asian guy, Asian cop choking out an Indian guy, like, if you just like, nope, that person probably was on fentanyl, they deserved it, when the cops tell you to do something, if that's your stance every time, my bad, Mr. Whitlock, you're right. But it's only when it's us and we're always wrong. It's always our fault. It's always something that we could do differently. It's always something. You're always pulling something that don't have to do with nothing that's going on with that. And anybody who had two eyes, man, you saw that. You had Republicans, you had Democrats, you had independents. Like, okay, look, regardless of my politics, that was fucked up. That shouldn't happen ever. To where somebody's sitting up calling out for their mom. Like, at some point, he's down. He's handcuffed. You don't have to keep putting your knee on the neck. Mm-hmm. He can't go nowhere. You put your hands behind your back and lay on the ground and try to get up without using your hands. It's almost damn near impossible. So if I'm hand behind my back like this, face down, it's almost damn near impossible for me to get up. That, like, what am I gonna do? You got to use your arms to get some kind of leverage. He can't get up. You see what I'm saying? And so again, like, and I'm not saying that he didn't have some witty puns with the Tupac Shedeur and all of that. Like again, he's and that is why I said he can be witty. He has talent. I'm not one of those people that's gonna sit up here and say Jason Whitlock ain't talented, that he's not good at his job, that he's not skillful, that he hadn't paid his dues, because that's a lie. Yeah. And like I told you, I'm subscribed to his stuff, regardless of whether or not I agree with him. I support him as somebody who I understand your struggle and what you had to do. So I'm still gonna support you, even though I might not eat at your restaurant, but I'm gonna still tip your valet drivers. But I'm gonna be honest too and say, like, you Uncle Ruckus.
You know, like for me, Whitlock is he's Whitlock. Like when he's right, he's right. Can he pander? You know, sometimes to the degree, like yes, but I do appreciate him because he does give the other side of the story that you won't hear on ESPN, that you won't hear like on Fox, especially when it comes to black people. Like for me, when you're right, you're right. Like you can say he panders more so. The black person is always wrong, but then on the other side, when you look at like ESPN, Ryan Clark, and people like that, like Ryan Clark race baits a lot. You know what I'm saying? He wants to get into this whole, I think, civil rights kind of man type of conversation, and Jason Whitlock in a lot of ways kind of calls him out on that. Some of it's fluff, some of it, a lot of it's real to me. Like, but like I said. I don't think I do think that he was on Coach Prime a lot last year, and some of that was a little cringy because I just thought he was kind of beating a dead horse a little bit too much. But then on the other stuff, I think he's spot on. He's right. But for your take, I hear a lot of people saying that, and I you know everybody got their opinions, but I appreciate what he brings to the table because it's not what you hear on the other stations, which I think have to pander in the way like an ESPN and other people like that, because they're not going to say
find me 3 times. No, 5. Because his career goes, he's been in the media at least 30 years. But I ain't even going to go that far back.
Yeah, he's been on for a while.
I will go from 2010 to 2025. Mm-hmm. Find me 5 times where he's actually defended black people on something.
I could probably find
that wasn't in the right, and by I mean like right wing, like Republican type.
Yeah.
If they're not a Republican, if they're not right wing, if they don't fit their particular agenda, he's never been on black people's side like 5 times.
Now I will say this: he brings up his overarching point is what you saying. Now. But he also puts a lot of caveats in there, which a lot of people are not going to listen or even care about because what his overarching point points to. Because he puts a lot of caveats in there. Oh, this, that. But you're not listening to that part. You're listening to what his overall narrative, what he's actually saying. So, again, like I said, he's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm subscribed to him too. But I think he's more right than he's wrong in a lot of areas, especially when it comes to stuff like this. When we're talking about Prime and in the draft context of it and stuff like that.
Right.
The other stuff,
and I'm not saying, like I said, that part. I'm not saying that he's wrong in that. I'm just saying that anytime that that issue comes up, he's never going to be on the side of us.
Oh, yeah.
Even when it's clear that is that. He's never going to be. He's going to find every type of excuse. But when it's the other way around, just like he finds every type of excuse to make it our fault, when it's the other way around, he going to find every type of excuse of why we should have been oppressed or why we should have been beaten or shot by the police or whatever. He's going to find, like even when old girl got shot by the police officer in her house. Yeah. When she rebuked like that, he found a way to find it her fault. Anybody watching that, it was no reason for that. It don't matter what side of the political spectrum you were. If that was your sister, if that was your mom, if that was your daughter, you'd be like, man, no, that ain't cool. It's no. She asked for the police to come. You're supposed to be here seeing about me. And somehow Mr. Whitlock made that her fault. And that's what I'm saying. He's gonna always find a way to do that. But now, if that was the other way around, if that was a white woman and a black police officer had shot her in the same way, you could show two back to back. He's gonna find a way to make it the black police officer fault. And that's all I'm saying. And he consistently does that. And so now, if it was a legit, if the lady was trying to throw the water on that, man, that's fine. Like, I have no issue with that. You know what I'm saying? If they was telling her, like, hey, man, put the pot down, please don't throw the water, and it was, man, I had no issue with that. But like I said, he's gonna, and again, I know we segued into that. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Again, he's made some. I'm not gonna say, like you said, broken clock right twice a day. When he makes valid points, he makes valid points. I'm not going to take anything away from his validity
when you're right,
when
you're
he
right.
does it. I'm not.
When you're right, you're right.
All I was saying is that 100% of the time he gonna find a way to make it our fault. And Kate, I mean, it like not that white people need a savior, but if they ever had one, oh no, he got a cape for him.
Yeah, just look at it. Look at the other perspective, man. So, you know, like I said, I mess with him most of the time. With that, this next one here, like I've been hearing about it. I've heard Cam and Mace talk about it. You know, about Ye. You know, the whole Kanye situation.
That's your boy.
Hey, you know, I mess with Kanye to a degree.
No, you mess with him a lot.
Nah, I mess with him to a degree.
No, you mess with him a lot.
I don't condone the foolishness, but when it comes to this stuff with his cousin, having
album.
Yeah, the album is tight. The album is bumping.
No.
Yeah, and Donda, what is it? Donda 2?
No. I'm talking about the Jesus King album.
Yeah, Jesus King is nice. Yes.
That's his worst album.
Nah, in comparison, you can say that, but it's still a nice album. My kids love the album.
You know what I'm saying? Like, again, so when you compare it to anything else he's done,
but that's the worst album. That's comparing like Michael Jackson's Thriller to Remember the Time or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, in comparison, it's worse, but it's still a good piece of work.
It's not.
It's still a good piece of work.
It's corny.
My kids love it.
It's corny.
I like it.
Because it's gospel. It's corny.
I like it.
Only because he mentioned the Lord. Because if he didn't, it wouldn't be corny. But it's corny because he mentioned the Lord.
Hey.
As long as you don't say the Lord, it ain't corny. As soon as you say God, it's corny.
One of my kids love the Close on Sunday. They call it the Chick-fil-A song. I don't know if you heard that song.
Your kids love Baby Shark. Does that make the song good?
No, but
I guarantee you they love the song, the Peanut Butter and Jelly Time song. Does that make it good?
It makes it
When
catchy.
your kids was little, they loved the Barney I Love You, You Love Me song. Does that make it good?
Oh, the Barney song still
No,
good.
nigga.
Stop it.
Just because it's catchy doesn't mean it's good.
In a lot of it is. If it's catchy, that means it's good.
Do you know what Chuck Berry had all those songs like that Goodness Gracious, Great Balls of Fire song that was actually a Chuck Berry song. Yeah. There's a lot of white artists that took Chuck Berry songs and they became #1 hit. Do you know the only #1 song that Chuck Berry had?
Nope.
My Ding-a-Ling. Look it up. I can't make this up. The only #1 song that Chuck Berry had was My Ding-a-Ling. And it by far was probably one of the worst songs that he had in terms of music and in terms of, but it's just the catchiness of him singing My Ding-a-Ling. And then he had the crack. And if you look at the video on YouTube, it's black ass man and it ain't nothing but white people in the crowd. And he holding the microphone down there, all of them hollering My Ding-a-Ling. And all I'm saying is just because it's catchy doesn't mean it's good.
Catchy is popular.
It doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, we're gonna disagree on that. I don't say it has to be good. Like OJ the Juice Man. OJ the Juice Man. He had a lot of catchy records. Right?
Doesn't mean that they're good.
What I'm saying, they're good because they're catchy. That's what I'm saying.
It's good and catchy, but then it's catchy because it's something like, just like the kids now had that Baby Shark song. What was our Baby Shark song? You remember that Sesame Street joint? And that would get stuck in your head. Like, and when you watched it, it was no words. It was just them little muffins hopping around and the dude popping in every time going, It's nothing good about it, but it's catchy.
It would be so annoying that you actually end up like what's the Nas X song? What's that song? Old Town Road.
Okay,
absolutely hated that song.
Right,
but it was so catchy. Like you listen like dang, like you know what I'm saying? It's like it's you don't like it, but you just like
happy, okay, for real.
I like that song.
But this is what I'm saying. That was a catchy song, and it's a good song.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be subjective whether you like
and
it.
Good.
But I'm thinking like a song can be so catchy, it's just like, yeah, that is kind of okay. I don't like it, but it's like you'll nod your head to it. You be like, okay.
And what is some catchy is easy to receive? Again, it doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
Like we talking about football. Like if somebody throw what they call it a duck pass, the pass you throw it and it be wobbling like that, it's easy to catch it. It don't mean it's a good throw.
Right, but
it's easy. But it's easy to be caught. Like when you throw your 4-year-old a pass, it's not gonna be your best throw, but he gonna be able to catch it. But it's a difference when you actually throw a throw that's a good throw and it's easy to catch. And that's all I'm saying. Like, to your point, your kids like the song. I'm not saying is anything wrong with them liking it. I'm just saying if you're comparing it to any other song he got, and to my point, the quality that he put into his other work, he didn't put into that.
It was
different. He basically took a piece of shit and he shined it up and he threw Jesus' name on it. And he knew, like he always do, like what people in the black community always do, when I get in trouble, I'm going to throw God or Jesus on it. And then niggas is going to come and get it, because that's one thing we always support. When niggas say they gave their life to the Lord or we going back to church, then niggas be like, oh yeah, we got to do it. And that's what he did. And then once he got that money, once he got back up to his billionaire status, then he went right back to his bullshit. And it's gotten progressively worse. And when it first came out a few years ago, everybody, oh no, you got to give him credit. No, that was strategic. That was a ploy. And now he's constantly, and it just gets worse from him calling Jay-Z and Beyonce's children retarded. And how you can stand with him if you have children. If you got a niece or a nephew, if you got god kids, and somebody calling somebody, how would you feel if somebody called your children retarded?
Hey, you wouldn't like that.
Exactly. And he's not saying it like they got Down syndrome or they're he's saying it in a way that it's an insult to the. Just look at them, they're retarded, and he doubles down on that. And you still rocking with this motherfucker? You're fucked up in the head.
Now, this is what I say about Ye. Ye is very random in how he does things. If he feeling gospel one day, he gonna make a gospel album. If he feeling like, I just think he's very schizophrenic in a lot of ways. I don't think in some of the ways that you're saying that he's strategic. I just think he's being very random and just saying what he feels during that moment. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like, at the end of the day, he's still an amazing artist, generational talent as far as artists. But, you know, him flying off the ledge, what he been doing, about to do a whole porn app and stuff like that. Like, of course he's going off the whammy, but it's just, I just think he feels what he feels. Like tomorrow, if he feeling back godly and doing something like that, he'll just do what he feels. So that's what I feel with him. I think he's so off the ledge mentally that I don't think you can say he's strategic in how he moves in that nature. I just think he's super random, schizophrenic, and just he gonna do what he want to do when he want to do it.
Okay, well, you know who else believes in Jesus and doesn't do anything that he says? Satan. But I digress. And that's all I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and again, and that's why I said, like, it's a lot of believers out there that really need to check yourself. You say you believe, but you don't do nothing that the scriptures say. You know who else who believe and don't do nothing that the scriptures say? Yeah. Satan. But I digress. But
he can be that. But I'm saying
saying that again. We really need to look at what idolatry is. We really need to look at how we put people up on a pedestal. Because in any other metric, if it was somebody who called your children retarded, you wouldn't have no dealings with that person. But, this nigga made college dropout 100 years ago. So he gets a pass. He reminds me of the character in the movie Along Came Polly. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's a great movie, romantic comedy. Rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman. But he played a character in there. He was Ben Stiller's best friend. But he made a movie when he was a kid, and he thought that everybody was still supposed to know him because he played in this movie when he was a teenager. And he was still acting like he was this big celebrity, even though that was the only, and his career was over with, but he was still acting like, I'm this big celebrity. And at the end of the movie, Ben Stiller's dad told him, he said, hey, you did this great thing 100 years ago that nobody cares about. You acting like you better than everybody else. Man, you had a great run. You're listed as one of the GOATs of producers. Nobody can take that away from you. But ever since you did that, you think that you better than everybody else. You think that you can do things that most people would get punched in the face about.
But
some people would even lose their life about.
Who giving Ye a pass, though? I ain't seen anybody that gave him a pass.
No, the only reason, I'm not saying that he gets a pass. I'm
he
saying
definitely don't get a pass.
No, we're talking about it. But he walk around with his security because he wouldn't say that shit if his security wasn't around.
Yeah, I mean, he's smart.
So that's not strategic? So that's not strategic? That's all I'm saying. I'm going to say my shit because I know I got this Navy SEAL. I got this Green Beret. I got these killers behind me who have made a living of erasing people off the face of the planet. So you ain't going to do shit to me because I wouldn't say that to you without them because I know I get fucked up. Because I'm not finna fight you. I want to give my cousin head. That's what Kanye on.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
But you want to talk about how you but you want to talk about Kim K, and keep in mind, when have I ever been a fan of Kim K? I ain't never been a fan of Kim K. But you want to talk about her, but then you sitting up here doing this, and you talk about her ruining your kids being with Pete Davidson, but you gonna sit up here and say I was sucking my cousin dick till I was 14. Like, dude. Some shit you take to the grave with you. Some shit you die and you do not repeat ever. Ain't no benefit in that. So you can say schizophrenic. I'm going to say crazy as cat shit. And again, nigga, y'all can love Kanye. Y'all can love Aaron Hall and R. Kelly and all of these people. The only people that I'm rocking with is OJ. That's it.
No.
But... nigga, and that's what I'm saying. Like, niggas got less grace for OJ. And and again, it was enough for a reasonable doubt in that motherfucker. It ain't no fucking reasonable doubt when you say you sucked your cousin's dick. Ain't no reasonable doubt when you wearing a Klansman outfit. Ain't no reasonable doubt when you wearing a swastika and you saying you love Hitler, who was known for hating black people and anybody. And if you mingled with somebody who wasn't black, you were the first person who he was trying to take out. So you got 4 kids with somebody who ain't black. And you'd have been the first person that Hitler would have been trying to take out. But you talking about you love Hitler.
Yeah. Well, Ye, I'm not, like I said, I don't even pay attention to it. I just heard what he said. I heard Cam and Mace talking about it. Personally, I don't even pay attention to what he actually got to say a lot now because it's going to be outlandish. It's going to be something to talk about. But to be honest, it's really nothing to talk about because he's just lost it at this point. You know what I'm saying? And so hopefully he reels it back in and comes back to a place of balance and where it needs to be. But I mean, dude is off the women. You know what I'm
Look,
saying?
I'm just gonna say this, and
Off the
again,
women.
I'm not, whether I agree with anybody being homosexual or not is irrelevant, because I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. That's between you and the Most High. Period. And if you don't believe in the Most High, ain't no point in having a conversation with you about it. If you do believe in the Most High and you want to talk about it, we can sit up and chop it up. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. If you repeatedly are a man and you repeatedly sucked another man's dick, you're gay. It ain't no other way to say it. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you want to talk about anybody about morality or anything like that, oh, the pot finally gets to meet the kettle. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And my thing is, at what point, like, we love you because of your music, and you ain't doing none of that. And I commented on a lot of people's posts when they were posting about the Kanye thing. You know, South Park some years ago, they made a joke about Kanye being a gay fish. Because somebody asked him, like, do you like fish sticks? And the way they said is like fish sticks, but the way they said, you like fish dicks? And he was like, yes, I love fish dicks. And it's like, oh, so you're a gay fish. And so, like, Kanye was mad about it. Like, oh, how dare y'all call me a gay fish? But then you come out and say, you actually do. You like human dicks. Like, so, again, and if you're gay, that's fine. That's just a conversation you need to have with your children. That's a conversation you need to have with the Most High. Again, I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. That's your business, not mine. But please don't be trying to talk about nobody's lifestyle and morality and everything like that when clearly you got a whole lot of issues.
Yeah. I mean, obviously with that. All right, this next one here, Wallow. This was a couple weeks ago. Wallow.
Yeah, you sent me that.
Wallow, I did. Wallow roasts black-owned businesses. Now, I don't think I have the video. Whatever is not up, but Wallow was. I don't know where they was at, but he was just
doing some type of speaking engagement.
Okay, yeah, it was a speaking engagement. I don't know who he was speaking to, but basically Wallow was going in talking about how he does business. It's not, he doesn't have a black owned business. He just conducts business. Whoever comes in there,
right?
You know what I'm saying? They do what they do, and I thought it was a good point, just because I think us, especially black folks, say I got a black owned business, and you automatically expect somebody to support you. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're black owned, not because you have great customer service, not because you have the best quality stuff, just because, oh, we're a black owned podcast. You know what I'm saying? So you should come. No, we want to have good content. We want to be, as entertaining as possible within ourselves, at least. You know what I'm saying? So not just from a black standpoint, but just from an overall quality, right? Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was great, because I just think we all need to do that. I hate when people come to me and say I should support them as a black-owned business, but I can get better business going to another establishment, better food, better quality, better follow-up, better all this stuff. And so I thought it was dope. I don't
have a problem with anything that he said. I think that sometimes people will take the extreme and run with it. He wasn't saying that he doesn't support black-owned business.
Right, he wasn't saying that.
And I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast, and Mark Lamont Hill was on there, and he said that for years, like, Wallow has supported his bookstore. And he said that he could get the books cheaper on Amazon. Mm-hmm. But he supported Mark Lamont Hill's bookstore. But he was saying that in his bookstore, it's clean. You know, the books are good. The customer service is good. And that was the point that Wallow was making. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we want people to support our business, or we want them to frequent us or to fool with us. And to your point, like, my store ain't clean, or my restaurant ain't clean, or my food ain't the best. I don't have the best cooks back there. It's not seasoned the best. Mm-hmm. The people that I hire, my people at the door, they got attitudes. So now, And everybody like, oh, well, you'll go to, what's the name, this restaurant, yeah, okay, maybe the customer service sucks, but the food is good.
Right.
Or, you know what, maybe the food sucks, but the customer service, the ambiance is amazing. You know, like when I take my pictures on the gram or Facebook or whatever, like, oh, look, man, it looks amazing in there. Even if the food might be kind of average or whatever, and you might have amazing food. But Shaniqua got this attitude, and I want to, like, we about to fight at the door because she got this attitude because she didn't got into it with her baby daddy. And like, that's interfering with the work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now, and then you want me to pay more or just as much as I would pay in a place where everything's clean, the lighting is different, the menus are different, and all he's saying is that true enough. And he said, I look for the black business first. Like if you listen to the whole thing, he actually said, I look for that first.
I gotta pull it up.
But if it's not that, and Dr. Umar actually had somewhere he was talking about this, where everybody was asking him about his school not being up. Mm-hmm. He said one of the reasons that it's not up is because he said he initially was trying to only fool with all black everything. So you're fooling with all black contractors, they screwing you over. The plumbers, they screwing you over. The construction workers, they screwing you over. And so eventually he had to get to the point to where it's just like, okay, I'm going to take the best available. And he said he get with the white contractor, they done in a week. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He get with the Hispanic, but they done in a week. Whereas the black person, it took you 2 years because you're trying to fool with them. And he said, unfortunately, like, when people know that you're trying to do that, they're going to get over on you. And we have to do a better job of looking for the hook, instead of looking for the hookup, putting forth an impeccable service. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of times that's what we don't do. I want you to fool with me because I'm black or because I know you, and not because I'm putting forth an impeccable service.
Right. Now, I actually got this pulled up now. I don't know if y'all can, let me see. I don't know where it's going to start from. Let me see.
Either you got a good business or you don't. All that shit, don't nobody want to hear that shit. That's a hustle. Support me because I got a black business. Is your restaurant clean? Is the food good? Do you got consistent cooks? Is the material of your shit good? Stop doing that. Oh, you support the white people? No, I support consistency, baby. Well, fuck about what color you is. I'm going to spend my money. That paper, I'm going to spend them deals where the fuck I want to spend it at. Grab his Porsche, Ferrari, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do when I'm here. But I'm going to tell you one thing, I ain't going to be finessed off some black shit. But one thing about it, 70% of you motherfuckers is not going to make it. I'm not no motherfucking fake-ass motivational speaker that talk this dumb shit. I'm the #1 nigga in the country. You know why? Y'all seen me come out of the penitentiary. I make millions, and I make millionaires, baby. You understand me? I come from the ghetto.
All right. So that's what that was there. Pretty much all that we were talking about. I just wanted to give like a real audio for what we were saying because it's been going around on social media, Instagram, and all that stuff. So I think it was a great point because I think, especially us as black people,
right,
we want to have a nail salon. You know, why don't we, we go to the Asian spot, you know what I mean, get our nails done. Let's have a black spot.
Right, exactly.
But the Asian people, they going to give me, you know what I'm saying?
The cucumber water.
The cucumber water. They going to give me some Sprite. They'll give me some mimosas, Moscato, and then the customer service is impeccable. There's no attitude. You know what I'm saying? That ain't, you know what I'm saying, putting their nose up, even if your feet crusted, you know what I'm saying? They stay down in that junk. They be like, you know what I'm saying? You go to a black junk sometimes, they may be, they be, you know what I'm saying? Look, like, little stuff like that could matter, you know what I'm saying? And so now, I'm just like, this is something that, I'm dealing with customer service in the industry that I am in now, right. You know what I'm saying? So, it's different, man. I always put Chick-fil-A at the top when you're talking about customer service, right. Because you can say what you want about their food and, but the customer service, you feel loved there.
Yeah.
You feel, whether they mean it or not.
Not right. They actually show it. And you know what? I don't know. Somebody sent me a reel. It was like the way Chick-fil-A service be. And like somebody ordered, like dude that ordered some nuggets or whatever. and he forgot he ordered his sauces, and like he didn't get all his sauces, and so like the
no.
person behind was like chasing him.
Yeah,
like,
no,
traffic.
And
he's like running after the car, and then like he gets to the house. He's like, man, you forgot your sauces, right? He's like, oh man, I already ate this shit. Like, but like and it was funny, but like
it was real.
They actually have impeccable service.
They do, man.
And that kind of goes back to the thing: is your service impeccable? And so we can't get mad when people don't want to frequent our business when we don't put forth impeccable service.
Yeah, and so. That's a good point on that. Now, we got some quickies. Oh,
hold on. Like, now, I don't know. Did you see the one that I sent you where DJ Vlad finally apologized to Minister Farrakhan?
I did see, I don't know, was he on a podcast or
So
a show?
He was on Willie D's show. And so, like, the history of that is, I don't know if you used to watch Vlad from a few years back, but he used to have, like, Godfrey on there a lot.
Yeah, I remember that.
Godfrey and Lord Jamar actually helped build the platform of Vlad TV.
Yeah.
They haven't been on there in at least 5 years. And the reason being is because he misquoted Minister Farrakhan.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was something that Minister Farrakhan said. That he basically made a statement where he was like, we have to hurl the stone of truth, is what he said, which is like, so when people are lying, you have to throw truth at them, is essentially what he was saying. And what Vlad misquoted Minister Farrakhan in saying, it was like basically like, oh, Mr. Farrakhan saying like, you got to throw rocks at the Jews, which I have an issue with him anyway, is because for him, he picks and chooses when he wants to be quote unquote Jewish, because like, when somebody's talking about the faith, religious aspect of it, he's, I'm an atheist. But then as soon as somebody says something about the Jews, now all of a sudden it's like, I got this outrage.
He's convenient.
You're anti-Semitic. But it's like, okay, well, part of it, like, it's not just a race. It's not actually. It's a faith and a tribe, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so now you say you don't want the faith part of the tribe, but you want the tribe part. Like, make your mind up. Are you or aren't you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when it was pointed out to him that he misquoted Minister Farrakhan, and again, I'm not of the Nation of Islam. I'm not a Muslim, as far as I know. JB isn't. But I will say that as a people, we respect our elders regardless of what their faith is or their beliefs are. And he disrespected an elder. But not only that, people that he called friends, he doubled down on. And instead of him apologizing, he doubled down on the statement. And so that's why he lost a lot of his support, not only from people like Godfrey and Lord Jamar, but like that's why Rizza Islam hadn't been back on there. That's why Royce the 5'9" stopped being on there. And again, like, Royce is not, as far as I know, not a Muslim, but you disrespected an elder. And so the consensus was, until you make that right, we're not going to support your platform. And so now he apologized. He was on Willie D's platform because him and Willie D from the Ghetto Boys are still, tight.
Yeah, I saw that.
He apologized on that platform. Some people are saying that he did it because he's like on a media tour, and he's seeing now that Club Shay Shay is getting interviews that he couldn't get, like with Marlon Wayans and Damon Wayans and other people. You see podcasts like The Art of Dialogue, now they're getting interviews that you can't get. And so they're like, okay, he's doing it to try to, see if he can get some of that cachet.
Of course he is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, duh.
I mean, an apology is an apology.
It is what
I don't
it is.
know his genuineness or disingenuineness of it.
We don't know.
It is something to apologize. Time will tell if he's legit about his apology. And again, like I said, I don't agree with everything that Minister Farrakhan says, but I respect him as an elder. As somebody who's been a part of the struggle and the fight for people who look like we do for at least 50 years. He's been on the front lines of that, and we've seen fruit of that. He's turned a lot of lives around. People who could have been robbing or stealing or killing in society, who are not, again, regardless of whether I believe with the politics or the religion is irrelevant, these people are productive members of society, and they're not doing anything to disrupt my life or the way that I live. And so something is to be said about that. And so, again, we don't disrespect our elders, and I'm not down with anybody disrespecting our elders. And time will tell if he's legit about it or not.
Yeah, like when I saw it, like I knew the history behind it, with them. But like you said, if I had to guess, if I was a betting man, I would be like, he's doing this to benefit his platform, his stuff like that. Which I can't be mad at him. Like, nigga, you should have been did this.
Yeah, he should have.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you woke up if that's the case, right?
Worse things have been done.
You know what I'm saying? Because now, as you were saying, like, your interviews ain't as popping as they were 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
Like, of course, we got Bootsy and stuff, people like that that's going to be your mainstays. Right. But I used to watch DJ Vlad interviews a lot more 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, and a lot of the people he's having on now, they're not really saying anything. It's not as insightful as when you had Lord Jamar Godfrey on there, who's really going to dig in. Because, like, he had Michael Jai White on. He'll ask Michael Jai White something, and Michael Jai White be like, I don't care about that. I ain't heard about that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Whereas you ask a Godfrey or Lord Jamar, you're going to get some good content. Yeah.
But that's good. That's good for him, though. You know what I'm saying? That he actually did it. Like you said, time will tell whether that's actually the thing or not. But even for business purposes, about time.
Right. Yeah, it's long overdue.
Yeah, about time. So,
so now we getting into these
quickies. Now, this first one here that I'm at least talk about, that I'm more so very interested in, that I saw this a couple weeks ago. Well, we can talk about the playoffs real quick. We're going to get that out the way. Playoffs, okay. I stopped watching. My cousin actually had tickets to go to the last Grizzly game on Saturday. I refused. I just I didn't want to go. You know what I'm saying? Ja wasn't playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the Grizzlies lost 4-0. Interesting offseason, how we going to do that. I think I'm done with Jaren or Bane. We got to get rid of one of them, I think. If I had to choose, I would say get rid of Bane. But something got to happen. We're actually looking at it now, but I want to talk about the most interesting stuff. Ant-Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is really killing. The Lakers now, they up 3-1. You know what I'm saying? So Michael Jordan's youngest son.
Pastor Broderick called me.
Broderick.
Yeah, he was like,
guy.
That man's a horrible father, but he's a beast on the court. I was like, I don't care nothing about his fatherhood, nigga. That ain't why I watch him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and this is what we're talking about. As great as you are, if Ant-Man, if you continue to be great in these playoffs, nigga, ain't nobody thinking about what we talked about a few weeks ago as far as you being a horrible dad, a horrible human being. Right. Nigga, you that nigga on that court.
Right. So who you got winning the finals?
Ooh, NBA finals?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say. Okay.
Or rather, what? No,
OKC.
Who you think going to the finals?
OKC and Boston.
Okay. All right. So let's hold off on who we think gonna win.
Yeah.
Because we got a couple.
OKC and Boston. Who you say? Who you say?
I would say I say Minnesota and Boston. I say Minnesota and Boston, but I think all roads to the finals in the East go through Boston.
Definitely. I don't believe in the Cavs.
Yeah.
Just yet. I think they probably will get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're gonna have to prove to me that they can beat Boston in a 7-game series, which I don't think they can. So.
Yep. All right. What we got next?
Let's see. Now, Varnell. The Varnell show.
For the children.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, for nostalgia's sake, I'm with it.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, dog, we should have did this 10 years ago.
No, more than 10.
I mean,
because Martin went on in 96?
Yeah, but I mean
97?
Yeah.
So even 2007.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like that should have been something I think it's too little too late. I love Tommy Davidson.
I think so too.
He's great stand-up. If you haven't seen his stand-up, he's amazing.
Yeah. He's
great on sketch shows. He's great as an actor.
Yeah.
I mean, in anything Tommy Davidson was in, like, of course, Woo was a star in the vehicle. But, I mean, like, you look at him in Juwanna Mann. You look at him in, like, even he had a cameo in Ace Ventura 2, where he was, like, the little dude Ace Ventura was fighting. But, like, I mean, hopefully, if this is a real thing, I think it's going to be funny. I don't know how long it's going to last, but
if they
Tommy Davidson.
If they can reincarnate that character to make it into this age or something, you know.
Right, because what are they going to do?
Yeah, that's my thing. But, yeah, I'm with it.
Yep.
What
Sheryl Lee Ralph got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Now, explain to me who, like,
so Sheryl Lee Ralph was Moesha's stepmom on Moesha.
Okay.
She plays in this show, Abbott Elementary. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about.
Is one of the senior teachers on there, but she's been acting for
I'm familiar with the name.
Since the 70s.
Yeah.
And so she's always like the auntie or, you know, the mom in something, and so it's long overdue.
Okay. Yeah.
She is class personified.
Yeah.
And so congrats to her and her family on getting her star. Because a lot of us, you know, for too long don't get our props the way we do, and so we're glad that she got that. So, man, shouts out to Sheryl Lee Ralph getting her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, no doubt. Long overdue, actually.
Yeah.
Long overdue. Yeah.
And so next we got Luigi Mangione indicted. Luigi, if you remember, he shot the pharmacy CEO.
Yeah.
And they're trying to give him the death penalty. Which I think if y'all do that, that's counterproductive because you're gonna make him a martyr.
Right.
I think he does. If he's guilty of it, I think he needs to go to jail. If he's guilty of it, I'm not necessarily saying it needs to be the death penalty, but that's what they're seeking.
Yeah.
And of course, we're gonna find out more about that in the upcoming weeks and months.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And then now I see we got a RIP.
Yeah, man. So the '85 Bears, if you're a fan of the '85 Bears, one of their, and he just recently got into the Hall of Fame. Steve McMichael, Mongo, if you're a wrestling fan, because he later joined the Four Horsemen in the late '90s with Ric Flair. Them, you know, but he was a Hall of Fame football player, defensive end, of the greatest defense of all time, the '85 Bears. And he was battling multiple sclerosis. And he had a 5-year battle with that. And Walter Payton's son actually made the announcement that he had passed. So, man, prayers to his family. He made his impact definitely in football and certainly in wrestling. And so, again, if you're a Bears fan, I know y'all are grieving because he was certainly an impact player on that defense. And, again, if you're a wrestling fan, as I am, you know, he made an impact in that. So rest in peace to him and prayers to his family.
Yeah, no doubt. I didn't even know he passed, but I know you.
Yeah, no, it just happened like last week.
Oh, it did. Okay,
yeah, a couple of days ago.
Okay,
as a matter of fact.
For sure. Man, again, appreciate your patience today.
No, you good.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what we do.
Yeah, man. So we had a lot to get into. We talked about the two main things. We wrap that up.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, man. I'm trying to think if I had anything else that I thought about that I didn't have on the tap. Nah, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. All right. You good? You good?
No, we good, bro.
We good. Okay. Y'all, until next time, continue with that executive mindset.
And most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.
Gotta go to that restroom now.
Look, I was glad when you said you ain't heard nothing else.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
I was waiting, I was like,